This show is produced by Passtime Studios. Hey there, before this episode begins, I just want to thank Bryson for coming on the show once again, and I'd also like to give a shout out to our patron Kevin. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/pastime. We recently just changed some stuff around on there, so go check it out if you're interested. But as always, just following and subscribing, telling someone about the show is a great free way to show your support. Here's the episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of the Passtime Thinker podcast. I'm your host, Frederick Piquet, and today my guest is Bryson Mcb. It's been about a year.
Hey.
It's been about a year since you were on last. The last episode you were on was published January 26th or 29th, something like that. So yeah, it's been about a year. How you been?
Been good, man. Been good. Living life however I can. Been still trying to get a bunch of acting gigs.
Yeah, you've been getting a couple acting gigs. Every now and then you send me some very funny Snapchats of you behind the scenes of some interesting projects.
Yeah, I can't send too much, or I'll maybe lose my job. But yeah, there was one that involved a diaper, a horse head, and nipple clamps.
Yes,
so,
I have that saved. It's my wallpaper. But yeah, you've been doing a lot of indie films, like in particular, right? Have they been like indie? Well, I know I said indie films, but have they been like near feature length movies? Are they more of like a series? Like, do you just kind of do one shots, or?
I think I'm not entirely sure if this last one I did was a feature film, but had a good cast. Had what's her name? Hampshire from Schitt's Creek. Can't remember her first name.
Neither can I. I don't watch Schitt's Creek, unfortunately.
It had Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I know that he lives in Toronto because
he's 80.
Yeah, when I was living in Toronto, I never bumped into him, but I knew where to go to potentially bump into him because I had a lot of friends be like, "Oh, I'm not going to say the location just in case, but like a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I was just here and like, yeah, I saw Colin Mockery." Like I knew like 3 people on 3 different occasions who like bumped into Colin Mockery in a place that like I went to as well semi-frequently. And I was like, why the fuck? Like, I got so many questions about Wayne.
I think a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, like just, move around a lot in the GTA at least.
Yeah.
And, so it's just, I think they're good at hiding.
Oh,
I didn't even recognize him until he's a lot taller than I thought.
He wasn't even the tallest person in the cast.
I know.
How tall is he?
He's taller than me. He might be. How tall are you?
I'm just under 6'1". Like I'm 6'1".
I think he's like your height, maybe 6'2".
Huh. I didn't know. I mean, he's always, again, he's not even the tallest person in the cast, so like I just kind of I just thought he was average height. I wouldn't expect him to be tall.
Yeah. I don't know. It was I was surprised. But yeah, he's he's just so cool, man. I don't want to give away too much of what I was doing and what he was doing, but
no, for sure,
very relaxed. He's very relaxed on set, and he's just like, you could tell he's just like a comedy legend. Like,
oh no, he absolutely is. Like, I mean, this might be a weird sidebar, but like, I was having a conversation with someone the other day about Whose Line Is It Anyways? We were talking about just the art of improv itself, and Whose Line came up, and I forget the exact line, like the exact line of speech we were doing, but we basically boiled down to like, if Whose Line Is It Anyways might have possibly hindered improv by putting a slant on it that improv must be and is exclusively funny. Because you can improv serious scenes, you can improv, sadder scenes, but if Whose Line Is It Anyways, to some capacity, may have cemented or, kind of gave the impression that improv is exclusively funny or must be funny.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I've never really, I've always kind of had that in my mind when I think of improv. It's like,
gotta get a chuckle.
Yeah, I gotta get a chuckle, gotta get a laugh.
Yeah. And like it makes me wonder too if like that's why some people might be nervous about improv, because if someone might not see themselves as someone witty, or you might not think that you personally are a funny person, therefore the idea of improvising makes you uncomfortable because you don't know how to make it funny. But who knows, that person might be able to improvise a very moving scene or a very scary scene, and it would still be improv.
Yeah. I wanna take some more improv classes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those.
Yeah, I had, because like again, for people listening, because I know this is Bryson's third time on the show. I don't know if this has come up before, but Bryson and I went to school together, and we took improv. And I had a weird relationship with improv. Like, I was never unwilling, but I was shitting my pants the whole time. Yeah. And like, I know there was a few times where I went up and just crickets.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, because I would also like to think that like in a personal sense, like when we were hanging out outside of class, like I thought I was pretty good at improv, and then we go to class and I would choke so bad.
Do you think it was like the added aspect of the teacher there and the grading possibly, or
I don't know. Like, again, I was never unwilling to go up, but I was not having a good time the whole time I was up. There were, like, again, like if you do it enough times, something sticks. Like, I know that like I got a laugh like a few times, but more times usually I wouldn't.
That airport scene. That one where you and Joe.
Yeah, I remember the airport scene.
That was good.
But again though, like I know that like all participating members in an improv scene are like equally valuable, but like I felt like I was at my best when I was just exclusively doing yes and. Like, you say something, I'll go with it. I'm not going to change the direction of the scene. Like, you still got to change the I'll go with what you're doing. Like, I'm not like, again, I was very willing, but I don't feel like I contributed much.
So it was like you would grab on to what was going on, but you didn't know what to pull out of your pockets.
Yeah.
You were just
And like looking back on it now, like a lot of the scenes that we did in improv was basically that. Like, it was basically a lot of the characters I played in improv was like the doormat. Like, let's just basically, like, the whole joke was like, let's see what we can make Fred do. But like, I wasn't actually developing the scene itself.
Okay. Yeah. I get you. I don't know. I just miss like in person classes so much. Like,
yeah,
I did one about like 2 months ago with Conrad.
Oh, nice. Our Professor Conrad Coates.
It was fun. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was like probably less than 10 of us, and
oh wow, that's very intimate.
It was very intimate, and it was just so refreshing, because like I hadn't had that. What was that, 2 months ago? So I hadn't had that for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it's beautiful.
Whenever I do think back, like, I don't know if I just miss in-person learning, or if I miss college, or if I just miss the experience I had in college. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to like go back to school or go back to some kind of in-person learning, like, would it be what it was? You know,
it'll be different
because
it'll be different.
Yeah, like, it's not the same people, it's not the same circumstances. Like, as I mean, I don't know if I miss being there or miss what I went through.
Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But anyway,
how does that make you feel?
How does that make you feel?
Forget the podcast, Fred. This is a therapy session.
Dude, that's what a lot. Like, again, I know I didn't say this, but we went to school for acting essentially, and yeah, it's. I would casually disagree with people who would say this, but now that I've actually went through the program, like, I have a hatred for people who think that like anything in the arts is just like an easy grade or like an easy school experience, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the same as other programs, but it's just as stressful, it's just as strenuous, it's just as difficult. Like, yeah, I don't have to memorize these chemical components or these literary mechanics, but like, it's 7 a.m. and now I have to fucking cry in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I have to remember 5 minutes worth of fucking Shakespeare, know what I'm talking about,
and repeat it all day.
Like, it's not like at least for acting specifically, like, it's not like they give you a monologue, like some Shakespearean monologue, and be like, we'll see you next week when you perform it. It's like, no, it's like, we're gonna workshop this for a week straight, and then next week is just when you'll be graded on it, but you're going to say these words in a row 20 times.
Yep.
And every time you gotta get a little bit better, or you gotta do this differently, or you gotta work on this, or the not as often, but do you know what this word means?
You gotta know what you're saying.
You gotta know what you're saying. There's been a couple times where you can have the monologue down pat, memorized, know what you're doing, know how you're gonna say it, and then you figure out what one of the words in the monologue means. You're like, I can't fucking deliver it like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And like, it'll happen with Shakespeare more times than not, I find.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's another thing, because there's a lot of Shakespearean monologues that are like up for debate. Because I remember, I wouldn't say arguments, but creative discussions with professors and with classmates about like what this particular line means.
Yeah.
And everyone's argument sounds valid. And you have to pick one or it'll change the direction of the whole monologue.
Yeah. You watched the new Denzel Washington with Macbeth?
No, I know it's out there. I've been told to watch it. I have not watched it yet. Very good.
It feels like a theater experience.
Oh.
But like done through a movie. Like a cinematic theater experience.
What The Greatest Showman tried to do.
I guess, yeah. It was, yeah, definitely not as showy as The Greatest Show. But it was like it's black and white, and it just gives this like feeling of like the old style of movies, but then like the theatrical feel. But it's just beautiful, man. It was it's just didn't know all that they were saying in that movie. I watched a couple versions of the story, but
there's a lot of times I don't know how I feel about like live action cinematic versions of Shakespeare. Like, this might be a hot take, but like, I really don't fucking care for Romeo and Juliet. Like the live action movie with DiCaprio. Yeah. Didn't care for it. Did not care. I remember because we had to watch it when I was in high school. We read the play as a class first. Then we watched a stage production of it. The stage production was on DVD, but like we watched a live action stage production of it. And then I guess as like a treat or like a break from like the Shakespearean stuff, our teacher put on the DiCaprio movie, and I was like very disappointed in it. I can't quite explain why. I mean, like, the only thing I'll give it is that it was kind of cool that they could deliver the lines verbatim from the play in a more modern setting, and it still contextually made sense. Like, that was cool. But again, that's more credit to Shakespeare than it is on the people who made the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I haven't watched it since.
Yeah. I think I watched it at school at some point.
As well.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I want to get more into Shakespeare, but I think that's just you can't. I don't know. I think Shakespeare has to call you in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks because you can't really wait for Shakespeare to call you when it's a part of the school curriculum. And from grade 9 to 12, you will absolutely read at least 3 Shakespearean plays. I don't know if they've changed it like that. It's at least when I was in high school. Like, we did Romeo and Juliet in grade 9, Merchant of Venice in grade 10, and Macbeth in grade 11.
Yeah.
And like that was like the standard. Well, not those specific plays, but like that you did a Shakespeare for grade 9, 10, and 11 English.
How do you feel about the whole not saying like
Macbeth?
Instead of saying that, you say Scottish play?
Do you not remember being in class with me? I would say Macbeth like 30 times a day.
I remember that. I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel? Obviously, like, yeah, you don't give a shit.
I really don't. I think if I was in an actual like theater, I might do it more out of respect to the other actors. But when we're in a school setting, like not in a theater, we're more in like I don't even know how to describe our classroom. Like just a room, I guess I'll call it. It wasn't like a typical school room with like desks and stuff. It was like a huge empty room with like padded floors, and we had like
you call it a studio.
A studio.
Yeah.
I just, for one, I didn't fucking care enough to not say it while in a studio, and like 2, I didn't feel like, given the context of that word, that it would have any power in a studio.
I'm just imagining right now if you said this to like Mark, then Mark would just be like, "You are so wrong."
Well, that's what I mean. If I was, because it's my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it is unlucky to say Macbeth while in the process of rehearsing and getting ready for a stage production.
Yeah.
We were doing college courses. Like, there's nothing to jinx. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I see your perspective. I see. I don't know. Yeah,
because when we were rehearsing for stuff, like more specifically like our end of term performances, like I would not say anything because then I felt like we were actually in rehearsal for something and I didn't want to jinx anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because other people pressured me to. I think if I were to just say Macbeth and no one in class even reacted to it,
yeah,
I don't think it would have stopped me from saying it during certain times. But there was a lot of times where like I knew that like if I were to say Macbeth, while we're running lines, then, I know there are people who would genuinely get uncomfortable, genuinely get upset with me, and some people who would genuinely verbally tell me that I'm upsetting them by doing that. So like out of respect for the other people, I wouldn't say it, but if they didn't care, I would say it.
Yeah.
not because I believe that the word itself has any like kind of power, but I also understand that more of a cultural thing, that like it's not even if you're afraid of the word, it's just tradition to not say it. So I do respect it a little bit more that way.
I feel it. Yeah. I always have that, like, I don't know, when I hear the word, I immediately go like, ooh. Like,
Scottish play. You're supposed to say the Scottish play.
What happens in my head every time I hear that word?
No, I don't know why, because again, it's not like I was like unfamiliar with Macbeth going into college, because I had to read it for grade 11. So like I was aware of all of that. I did stage productions in high school where we all refused to say Macbeth.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then like I went to college and I was just kind of like, well, that was a fun thing I did as a kid. Like surely these fellow adults don't care if I say Macbeth. Wow. And then they immediately jumped down my throat.
You said what?
Yeah. I forget too. There was a couple times where they tried to like, not the professors, but like fellow classmates were like, you need to get out of this classroom while we're rehearsing. Because like you just said it, so you need to leave while we rehearse this scene.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you have any strong feelings about Macbeth, one way or the other?
No. I mean, I think
watch my OBS just crash. One of those things.
Yeah. Every time I hear it, I always just have that like, oh, he or she said it, or they said it, and then it's just like I don't know. I think it's just because it's been drilled into me that like, if you say it, you got to knock on the table, or you got to like spin around a bunch of times, and then I don't know, just and then walk in through the door backwards.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
That's what they try to make me do. Yeah, they try to make me leave the studio backwards. I forget. Well, no, actually, I remember exactly who tried to make me do it. I just won't say their name while we're recording. But
why do you have to walk backwards,
dude? I don't know. I don't know.
Reverse what you've done.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's very interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I say it here and there, but then I also catch myself and I'll go like, Scottish play.
The Scottish play. I don't know. Yeah. Like, at the same time, like, I understand that, like, if you're in this world, you would understand that the Scottish play is Macbeth. But I have an ego, so I just always assume people don't know what I'm talking about. So I just say Macbeth. That way I can just continue my sentence instead of going, the Scottish play. And they're like, what do you mean the Scottish play? Oh, the Scottish play is Macbeth. And then continue. Like, I'm just cutting the fucking middleman. And I'm just, like, so conditioned to, like, speaking like that. Of just, like, say exactly what I mean, so that I don't have to explain myself further, so I can just actually say the thing that I wanted to say when I began this sentence.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, as somebody who doesn't say a lot at times, I feel that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the weather in Sudbury?
It's like +2 right now. We had an extremely mild entry into the winter. Then we had like half a month of just freezing cold, shit ton of snow, and like now it's like getting into spring, I would say. I don't want to jinx that.
Yeah. We're supposed to be getting like 20 to 25 centimeters over the next 48 hours.
In Toronto?
Yeah, like the whole, like the GTA.
Wow. Well, you guys gonna make it?
Oh, we'll be fine, buddy. Yeah. I was at a few weeks ago. There was like a horrible. It was like the biggest storm we got hit with so far.
Yeah.
And it was, and it just happened suddenly. Like I was,
just suddenly you're walking on the pavement, and then suddenly you're climbing over snowbanks.
I say suddenly because I went to bed and then I woke up the next morning, and then I woke up, and so I guess through the night, And yeah.
I slept for 8 hours, but suddenly, when I woke up,
Yeah, no, I was at my girlfriend's house, and she lives in a basement, and
ooh,
the basement apartment, and so the door that goes outside has like a stairwell
oh
down in
no,
there,
like Scott Pilgrim.
and I opened the door, and it was above my waist. The snow was above my
It's
waist,
like,
and like
I think I'm spending
we were
another
just,
night.
yeah, and yeah, it was crazy. It was like five. It felt like 5 feet of snow because it all like fell in
Yeah, like
from the top. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't mean to sound rude, but like moving from a very northern town to Toronto, like
Oh yeah, soft.
yeah, like a lot of you
Yeah, no,
southerners like really can't handle the weather that Canada as a whole is known for.
yeah, no. I mean, I think I mean, I definitely if I went up north, like north
Yeah.
for the winter, I know it definitely feel more
It
intense.
would feel like an
But
apocalyptic event.
I think I could handle it better than others. But I definitely know people.
Yeah.
Like I think people that grow up in the GTA, they don't know what like true Canadian winter is, and you
Yeah.
definitely do. So, like it's just yeah,
Well, when
it's
I talk about
intense.
it too, I don't mean that like extreme weather conditions was just a fucking norm. Like I don't mean that. Like I don't mean that like it was like, yeah, once we hit November, it's just -40 until May. Like
No,
that's not at all what I lived through. But
yeah,
like quite a lot of experiences where even like going to the cottage one weekend, no snow. Wake up the next morning and we're shoveling ourselves out and all I have on are like a t-shirt, a loose sweater and shorts. And like basically like thanking the Lord that we like left our skidoos at the cottage. That way we can actually get all of our stuff to the car and then shovel the car out to get out. But like that's a thing that's happened in like the middle of May where
holy shit.
yeah, we went to our camp, did the whole thing, freaking went swimming, like ran around, like good, like really warm spring weather. Like I wouldn't say like yeah. And then we go to bed and then we wake up the next morning and my mom and stepdad are shoveling us out of the cottage to begin with, sending me and my brother to like go see if there's still gas in the skidoos. We had to start the skidoos, we had to bring them over, we had to start packaging all of our stuff and like tying it to the back end of the skidoo so that we can move all of the stuff that we're supposed to bring back home to the car.
Bro, that's madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's people in the GTA. They don't know what that's like. I mean, they know what that's like a little bit, but they don't know what that's like. That's I mean, not everybody.
And
Yeah.
then I don't know if this might have been a conversation I've had with you, but somebody in our program who is born and raised in Toronto, but essentially like what's a snow day in Toronto? Like what qualifies as a snow day? Is it just improper road conditions?
Um, I think it's like improper road conditions, but also like it's got to be a fair amount of snow.
Yeah. I would have snow days because the weather was so cold that the buses just would not start.
I think we've had like a handful of those
Yeah.
in 20 years.
Yeah.
But that's
No,
it's
we'd
not
have we have
common.
a handful of those per year, I would say. It was either because improper road conditions or like it's -45 before the wind chill and just the buses will not start.
Yeah. I think yeah, the frustrating thing about like snowstorms here is because I guess up north isn't as like heavily trafficked.
Yeah.
here it's like everybody's still like if it's summer outside, the roads are always busy
Yeah.
in the GTA. So when there's a snowstorm hitting, everybody's still going, I'm still gonna try and do what I have to do, and then so there's always people moving around here,
Oh yeah.
and that's what's the frustrating thing is because there's always car accidents, there's always like snow delay. It's just
Well, I think a lot of it to do is like the actual like infrastructure of Toronto isn't designed to have that much snow.
Yeah.
So like a lot of that, because like a lot of Toronto is wide streets, narrow sidewalks, a million people going either way, like small margin for error.
Yeah.
Just getting around.
Yeah, it's crazy. It just feels like there's so many people at times. It blows my mind.
Well, I know. I used to work downtown Dundas Square. Like I experienced people.
Yeah, like it's so refreshing going up north. That's what I love going up north, just because it's like just barely. It feels like there's barely anybody around.
You feel the privacy.
Yeah, and it's just like it just feels more peaceful and quiet, and it's just. Yeah, I gotta go on a vacation, man. I gotta get away.
Come on over. But that's about all the time we have for this segment. We're gonna take a quick mid-roll ad break, and we'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Passtime Studios. If you like my conversations with a wide range of people and topics, but would also like to see my thoughts and opinions on more hot-button issues or recent topics, check out my topical segment with my childhood friend Josh. Fun fact, just because we're friends, we don't always agree on what we're discussing. If you want more of a sci-fi experience and really do enjoy Bryson's voice, he is a part of another show of ours, Project Maternity. And lastly, if you want some experience with us on Twitch, check out King Tamacross. We're currently playing the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise, for better and for worse. We're currently in Chain of Memories. Links for everything will be in the description below. And back to the episode. And we're back.
Woo!
So another thing I wanted to ask you about is you started a clothing brand.
Yes, I did. It's called TRoof 905. TROOF 905. You can find us on Instagram at TRoof 905. So currently, I'm making clothes on Teespring.
Yeah.
Print on demand. So saves me money from doing it that way. I'm thinking of branching out to other services online and finding ways of making more environmentally friendly clothing.
Yeah.
So just because I know clothes are one of the biggest causes of pollution.
Oh, really? I never really put them in pollution. I know depending on how you get the fabric, I can see them being bad for the environment depending on how you acquire the fabric. I didn't think that they actually caused pollution.
Well, I don't know. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's, or at least they just end up in landfills and don't fucking don't go anywhere. Yeah, and it's just so I'm just starting right now, but I want to try and focus an effort towards making just more environmentally friendly products.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel like a monster.
What's the inspiration behind it? TRoof 905. Why is that the name?
So TRoof started from we're gonna take a little journey back. When I was in high school, I had the idea, the dream, the aspiration to become a rapper.
A
and
rapper.
yeah, a hip hop artist, and the trouble was I didn't know how to express myself musically
Okay.
and artistically, and so yeah, I would always be asked like, "Oh, you're a rapper? All right, well, like,
Go.
give us something, you
Yeah.
know? You're a rapper, rap." And I would be like that guy on that talk show. Have you seen that one where the guy is asked to freestyle and he's just sitting there and he goes like, "Back in the day when I was," and then he doesn't know what to say. He's just like, that
Yeah,
was me every time I would try to rap. And then if I wrote something, I was like too shy and embarrassed to like share it. But I was so stubborn on being like, I'm gonna be a rapper. So I just kept telling people I'm a rapper. And
yeah.
so my friends supported me, but they also I had to bust my balls.
Oh, of course.
Uh, and so one day I remember it was a warm May day, and I was out front Geno's with a few of my buddies.
I'm unfamiliar
And
with warm May days.
yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, it's a Toronto GTA thing. Um, you wouldn't know. Um, sorry. So yeah, I was out front Geno's, and my friend was just like, if you're gonna be a rapper, you gotta speak the truth. You gotta speak the truth, the T roof. And he was just trying to get in my ear and just hype me up. And just ever since then, he would just say T roof. You gotta spit the truth. And then somehow we just started calling our friend group T roof.
Okay.
And um and then uh one day my friend, the one who came up with the whole "you gotta speak the truth," he's an artist, and he came up with a logo. And so two of my friends actually have the logo he made tatted on them.
Wow.
And I want to get it, I just don't know where to put it on me.
Right on your
And
forehead.
I'm not pulling a Drake. I'm not doing that. But yeah, so basically that's where it's inspired from, is just like my friend group. And
Hmm.
905 is like the area code we live in.
Okay.
And also 95 is when most of us are born.
Okay.
And then T roof is like truth, but then he made the way he made the the symbol. I haven't put it on any of the clothing yet
Okay.
because I want to talk to him. Because then, like,
First.
yeah. But the way he designed it was like it looks like the toxic symbol,
Okay.
and then there's a 9 and a 5 on each side of it, and then so then the 9 with the dot under the T makes the O. The 9 of, oh fuck, sorry.
It's all good.
Uh, Discord chats. The 905 is made out of like the T. The O is made out of the T and the dot. But then the
Hmm.
T and the dot can also stand for T dot, like Toronto. So
Okay.
there's a lot of elements in there. But anyway, yeah, that's where it started from. And creatively, it's something I've been enjoying doing. Um, I think I have a very artistic imagination
Hmm.
and vision. But like, if you asked me to like paint or draw something, I don't think I have. I don't think I have the ability to articulate what I have in my head.
Yeah.
So it's easier to do it digitally. through
Okay.
like
And
through
you
other,
make all the designs that's on the clothing and stuff?
yeah.
That's dope. I've taken a look at a couple of them. I know that there's one sweater in particular that I want to get.
Like,
Yeah, and how would you describe the actual style itself? Is there a particular genre that you want the whole brand to be like, or is there just whatever you're feeling like, throw it on to a shirt,
yeah,
or is there like a theme that you want it all to kind of follow?
I think I just kind of want to make stuff that, uh, like if my friends think it's dope, or if like my friends would say like, yeah, I would wear that, or
Yeah,
and that gives me a good enough of an idea of like, okay, then I think this style works more than this style. So right
hmm,
now I think I'm finding my style right
okay,
now. So I'm just kind of I'm like you said, I'm kind of just putting whatever I feel like on a t-shirt,
yeah,
and then just seeing what is more like what's more favored,
yeah,
and then just
and then
kind of carrying on that and following those ideas, and then just taking feedback and just asking my friends like, okay, well, what do you think of this design? What do you like about this? What do you don't like about this? How
mhm.
do you think this could be better? Do you think I should? So yeah, just incorporating constructive criticism and just
Incorporating that sounds like your friends are busting your balls.
they listen. That's most of my friends. They and that's what makes them such good friends. So
That they're willing to shit on something that you're expressing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I want their honest opinion. Honestly, like
for
I don't
sure.
want to. I hate it when somebody looks at something that like I've done and they're just like, "Oh wow, yeah,
Wow,
cool,
I can definitely see the effort.
yeah," but they're like really, yeah, they're trying to hide what they really feel about it, and it's just
Yeah,
like, just tell me on it. You're hurting my feelings more by doing this than not telling me how you feel.
for
You know,
sure. I get
so
that.
yeah, but yeah, yeah, it's just something I want to just keep. It's a flower I just want to keep watering and see where it goes. And
And
yeah,
is clothing specifically something that you have an interest in, or do you think you might expand into other forms or types of merchandise in general?
I think I will at some point, but I think right now I'm just gonna focus on clothing.
Oh, for sure.
Um, I think if like yeah, I think if maybe if I could make a brand or like a yeah, just a brand from this, then um, yeah, I mean I'll explore other avenues and options of what I could do.
Oh.
Like yeah, maybe start a TRoof 905 film production or something like that. Yeah, um, yeah, it's just clothing for now, and then we'll see where the world ends up.
Oh, that's for sure. I completely understand that. Like, as someone who's trying to make a business, right? Like, the podcast itself, it's definitely not what it looked like when it first started. It's definitely, or even start the segment that I've been doing with Josh, where we talk about more topical things. I don't think I'd be comfortable talking about a lot of those things if I wasn't getting used to just talking to people about anything. I mean, if I can come up here and like talk to anybody about anything on the podcast, then I should be able to talk about specific things with a close friend of mine and record it and see if it's entertaining and all that. But no, it's exciting to do stuff like this, and it's you got to do something like
Yeah,
nowadays, right? Just to stop you from going crazy.
yeah. No, you can't just do nothing.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, because of the world we're in right now. I'm not going to talk about that, but because of the circumstances a lot of people are under right now, like a lot of people are migrating to a lot of internet spaces. Like I'm not the only one who decided to start a fucking podcast throughout all
Yeah,
this. I'm not the only one who, decided to pursue these things. You know, you're not the only person who tried to start this, but like we all kind of got to do something, got to try something, right? Like one of the pros and cons of, you know, the pandemic is that it forced a lot of people to make that jump to pursue things. But because everyone's taking that jump, it also increases the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I do wonder if like that's more of a positive than a negative, because like it is a great thing that this was, you know, motivation enough for a lot of people to start what they've been talking about doing,
Mm-hmm.
in one sense or the other. But everyone's doing that now, so there's not a lot of space online that isn't blowing up, and because everything's blowing up, it's just competition, right?
Well, you just gotta find your niche.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is something that I've had a better time with Project Maternity than this show, because, you know, Project Maternity is an intellectual property that I was able to write, and it's the only thing like it in terms of the storyline and whatnot. But, you know, this show, you know, a lot of people have a podcast where it's just people coming on and chatting, and like that's kind of just how I see it. I just enjoy having conversations with people, and may as well post it online. If I find it interesting, why wouldn't someone else?
Want to just quick shout out to Brazil.
Quick shout out to Brazil
for listening to the podcast. Bom dia, Brazil. That's all.
For people who don't understand, last time Bryson and I checked out the analytics for Project Maternity, we have a very big following in Brazil for some reason. I mean, I completely welcome it. Just wasn't expecting it. If anybody can give me context as to how or why that could have happened, I'd love to hear it. Please reach out to me.
Yeah. But thank you, Brazil. Much love. Much love, Brazil.
But yeah, is there anything? Pardon?
Press tour coming soon.
Press tour in Brazil. Is there anything else you want to discuss, or anything else you might want to talk about, or any leaving thoughts?
Leaving thoughts. I think my thoughts are leaving. No. Just stay safe, stay healthy, and stay lovely.
Stay lovely. All right. Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be the end of the show then. Thank you, Bryson, for coming on. For people interested, I'm going to leave a link to TRoof 905 and down below. Give it a look. At least peruse it. At least check out the stuff. Maybe you want to buy one of these sweaters or shirts. Check them out. I know that there's one that I'm getting as soon as I can.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. Bryson, thank you for coming on. And until next time, stay tuned for Project Maternity Season 2, where you'll see a lot more of Bryson.
Mm-hmm.
And goodbye.